Hi, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Anthropology for Amateurs, where we dive deep into the mysteries of our prehistoric past. I'm your host, Gayathri and Vijay.
And I'm Roy Baek. Today, we're diving deep into the questions that has interested scientists and enthusiasts alike for decades. Why did the Neanderthals, our ancient cousins, disappear from the face of Earth?
But before we dive deep into this intriguing debate, let's first set the stage by understanding who the Neanderthals were and their relationship to modern humans.
Neanderthals were a distinct species of ancient humans who inhabited Eurasia for hundreds of thousands of years. They shared a common ancestor with Homo sapiens, but they were also distinct in their own right with unique physical features and cultural adaptations.
Yeah, Roy, Neanderthals had robust builds, large brains, and a remarkable capacity for tool-making and survival in harsh environments. They were skilled hunters, adept at controlling fire, and even practiced burial rituals, a sign of complex social behaviors.
Despite these similarities, Neanderthals also had their own unique adaptations and behaviors that set them apart from modern humans. They lived in small kin-based groups, and their technology, such as the Mousterian stone tool industry, reflected their distinct cultural traditions.
However, around 40,000 years ago, Neanderthals disappeared from the fossil record, leaving modern humans as the sole surviving members of the genus Homo. The question is, what happened to them?
One hypothesis suggests that Neanderthals went extinct due to competition with modern humans, who migrated into Europe from Africa around the same time. Genetic evidence indicates that there were interbreeding between Neanderthals and modern humans. But the extent of this interaction and its impact on Neanderthal population is still debated.
That's right, Roy. Advocates of the competition hypothesis argue that modern humans had technological advantages, such as more advanced tool technologies, that gave them a competitive edge in resource exploitation and adaptations to different environments.
On the other hand, the environmental hypothesis suggests that the Neanderthals succumbed to changing climates and landscape during the late Pleistocene. Fluctuation in temperature, habitat fragmentation, and shifts in vegetation may have disturbed Neanderthals' habitats and hunting grounds, leading to declines in prey populations and resource availability.
Both hypotheses have compelling evidence to support them, but they also have their limitations and potential holes that critics can pick apart. Let's explore some of these specific scientific findings and potential counterarguments for each hypothesis.
First, let's consider the competition hypothesis. Genetic evidence from ancient DNA extracted from Neanderthal fossils and modern human populations show evidence of interbreeding between the two species. However, the extent of this mixing and its impact on Neanderthal populations remain debated.
Yeah, so studies analyzing ancient DNA extracted from Neanderthal fossils and comparing it with the genomes of modern human populations have revealed traces of Neanderthal DNA in non-African populations. This indicates that there was gene flow between the two groups, likely as a result of interbreeding or admixture events.
Critics of the competition hypothesis point out that Neanderthals had successfully survived previous climate fluctuations and environmental challenges. So, why would they suddenly succumb to competition from Homo sapiens?
Well, advocates argue that modern humans had technological advantages, such as more advanced tool technologies, as mentioned before, that gave them a competitive edge in resource exploitation and adaptation to different environments. Analysis of stone tools reveal differences in technological complexity and raw material use between Neanderthals and modern humans.
However, critics argue that Neanderthals were also skilled toolmakers and had adapted to diverse environments across Eurasia. So it's not just about technology. It's about how different species interacted and adapted to changing landscapes.
However, I think critics of the competition hypothesis may argue that the genetic evidence alone does not conclusively prove that competition with modern humans was the primary cause of Neanderthal extinction. While interbreeding may have occurred, it's unclear to what extent it impacted Neanderthal populations. Moreover, genetic studies are limited by issues such as sample contamination, incomplete genetic data, and uncertainties in dating methods.
That's a fair point, Gayathri. Genetic evidence, while informative, must be interpreted cautiously and in conjunction with other lines of evidence. Another aspect supporting the competition hypothesis is the analysis of lithic assemblages from archaeological sites associated with Neanderthal and modern humans. Researchers have observed differences in stone tool technologies and raw material use between the two groups, suggesting distinct cultural traditions and technological innovations.
However, critics may argue that differences in lithic assemblages could also be influenced by factors such as raw material availability, environmental constraints, and regional variation in cultural practices. Without clear evidence of direct competition or conflict between Neanderthals and modern humans, it's challenging to attribute Neanderthal extinction solely to competition for resources. However, critics may argue that differences in lithic assemblages could also be influenced by factors such as raw material availability, environmental constraints, and regional variation in cultural practices. Without clear evidence of direct competition or conflict between Neanderthals and modern humans, it's challenging to attribute Neanderthal extinction solely to competition for resources.
Now, let's shift gears and explore the environmental hypothesis. Climate reconstructions and studies of the past vegetation dynamics provide evidence of significant environmental changes during the late Pleistocene. Fluctuations in temperature, habitat fragmentation, and shift in vegetation could have disturbed Neanderthal habitats and hunting grounds, leading to declines in prey populations and resource availability.
Critics of the environmental hypothesis, however, can argue that Neanderthals had successfully adapted to previous climate fluctuations and environmental changes. So, why would they suddenly fail to cope with the late Pleistocene conditions?
Well, it's not just about adaptation. It's about the magnitude and rapidity of environmental changes. The late Pleistocene was characterized by dramatic shifts in climate and ecosystems, which may have exceeded the adaptive capabilities of Neanderthals.
Studies of past climate conditions and vegetation dynamics provide valuable insights into the environmental context in which Neanderthals lived. Reconstructions based on pollen records, sedimentary deposits, and isotopic analysis reveal fluctuations in temperature, precipitation, and habitat composition during the late Pleistocene.
While these environmental changes may have posed challenges to Neanderthal populations, critics may argue that Neanderthals had already demonstrated remarkable adaptability to previous climate fluctuations. Evidence from archaeological sites show that Neanderthals successfully inhabited diverse environments, from cold tundra landscapes to temperature forests. Therefore, it's unclear why they would suddenly fail to cope with late Pleistocene environmental changes.
Yeah, moreover, there was studies of stable isotopes in Neanderthals and modern human remains provide insights into past diet and subsistence strategies. Analysis of carbon and nitrogen isotopes in bone collagen can reveal information about the consumption of different types of foods, such as terrestrial mammals, fish, or plants. By comparing isotopic signatures between the Neanderthals and modern humans, researchers can infer differences in dietary preferences and resource exploitation strategies.
However, critics may point out that stable isotopic analysis is subject to interpretation and relies on assumptions about trophic relationships and isotopic fractionation. Factors such as environmental variability, seasonal mobility, and food processing techniques can also influence isotopic signatures, leading to potential biases in dietary reconstructions. Therefore, while isotopic data provide valuable insights into Neanderthal diets, they must be interpreted cautiously in conjunction with other lines of evidence. So, Gayathri, as you can see, both hypotheses have strengths and weaknesses. They also complement each other in providing a more nuanced understanding of Neanderthal extinction.
Absolutely, Roy. It's a complex puzzle that requires careful consideration of multiple lines of evidence and the integration of different perspectives. Thanks for joining me for this discussion, and thank you, our wonderful listeners, for sticking with us till the end.
Until next time, keep questioning and explore the mysteries of our ancient past.